everyone. Welcome to part 2 of the community-based programming in the COVID-19 age. It's a national action dialogue, and part 2 is going to be the action part, right? We're going to walk away with some action steps of how we're going to move the top issues forward in our own world, okay? So I'm Molly Immendorf. I am the lead design manager for the Impact Collaborative program for E-Extension Foundation. I've been doing that for the last couple of years. Prior to that, I spent almost 19 years with University of Wisconsin Extension, Cooperative Extension as an instructional design and technology specialist. And I am so excited to be able to facilitate today's session and to help move us forward on such vital issues in a time of public health crisis. And so it's we're going to spend 90 minutes together, and we will walk away with our own personal steps moving forward. But let me backtrack a little bit and paint a picture and remind folks of what last week, what part 1 looked like and what came out of it. So last week, we all came together, about 300 participants came together to listen to and get some ideas from 3 panelists. We had planned for 4, we had 3 that were able to participate. And our 3 panelists, Chuck Hibbard, Paul Hill, and Doug Edlund, all gave us some inspiration, some ideas that, from the lens from where they sit in their roles with cooperative extension. And from that, we all generated a lot of ideas of different issues, and we sifted through those issues and came up with ultimately 8 topic issues that we're going to be working with today. Okay, and these are the top 8, and it's wonderful to have it come from the participants in the National Action Dialogue, and hopefully you're not feeling as alone in tackling these issues. And today we will move even further forward in them. Also, shortly after we crunched the numbers and figured out what the top 8 issues were, they were shared with Extension leadership nationally. So it was it was an important data set for our leaders as well. So you are being heard and listened to, and a part of this. So what should you expect? Today, as I keep mentioning, you're going to walk away with an action plan. I want to give you an idea. Most of the time that you're going to be spending today is going to be in one of 8 of those issue topics, okay? And you're going to be working with folks who are also interested in that topic. We have leaders who will help guide you through, problem solving and creating some first step, next step actions that you can do. Because we've learned that in order for progress to happen, for change to happen, you need to identify what are you going to do without any additional resources or authority. We all have things that we can do to move forward. So we're looking for you to do that. I have a link here to our notes, and this is the main notes for today. And if I'll put them here in the chat. For this, for those who want to know, okay, how long am I going to spend on this? How long am I going to spend on that? The agenda is there. There's all of the folks who are participating in leadership and support roles with today's National Action Dialogue. They're all there in the main notes. And Ashley is creating our notes as well, which I'm really happy to have. But I want you to focus as participants on these main goals, okay? And one of the goals is to focus, right? We are getting information from all over, and how do you sift through it? How do you even know where to start? Hopefully this National Action Dialogue will help you in that focus, okay? And today in particular, to give you that focus. Also want you to have the confidence that you can make a difference, okay? And, you know, no matter what you're dealing with, you have the ability to have a first or next step plan of action coming out of today, okay? So it's really important that, that you feel focused, confident, and that you feel you know what you need to do next. And so everything has been created today to give you that experience, okay? And hopefully the internet and technology and all of those pieces will work so that you don't have to worry about that as well. Okay? So just to kind of give you an idea of who all's here, right? So we have folks who are here to problem solve. Okay, we're calling you participants, right? For lack of a better word, but you're really the action go-getters. Okay, you're the ones who are coming together to problem solve around these major 8 issues. We have multiple issue leaders in each issue to help facilitate smaller groups so that you know, you can get to know each other and work together. We have key informants who are here. They're going to, we have one assigned for each of the 8 issues, and they will pop in to your small groups with some technical help on the back end to ask probing questions, to listen, and to give advice as appropriate. Okay. I'm your facilitator to guide the whole experience, but I gotta say, I've got lots of tech support. I've got, you know, we've got all of these people who have volunteered to be here to help move this forward. So, so it's really important to give a shout out to everyone in those roles as well. When you're in your small groups, there's one unidentified role that you need to decide on, and I would say, please, if you use Google Docs, because we're going to be using Google Docs for note-taking within the small groups, if you use Google Docs, step forward, say, hey, I'll be the note taker for this small group, and your issue leader will help you with that. Okay, so that will be a help to both you and your issue leader and your small group. So the why is the same as it is last week. We feel firmly that it's collective wisdom is what's going to move us the farthest along, okay, and the fastest. And that you know, you may have some ahas and some innovations that come out of this, out of necessity. And then there's you know, all of the ways that we can focus to move forward to address what we're doing right now and what we're going to do when the crisis has abated and what the new normal looks like, okay? And how? So I mentioned we're going to be in small groups. Last week, we generated a lot of ideas within each one of those 8 issue groups. So those are in the small document, or the documents as well, for you to choose from. There are also some guiding questions that your issue leaders will lead you in. And again, issue leader, note taker, participant, and key informants coming in and out are the roles that you will have in our 45 minutes in the small group time. So just giving a shout out. So I keep saying these these 8 issues, right? So here are the 8 issues and the volunteer issue leaders for them. So I'll let you read through. I'll move to the next slide so you can see we've got a lot of people helping in these roles. And we also have 2 volunteer overflow topic leaders because we're not 100% sure where we might need a couple extra topic leaders. So Megan and Ashley have offered to be on that role. So with that, I want to give you an example of what you'll find. Each one of your small groups will have a Google Doc. And when you are broken into a smaller group, you'll look for the number, right, of your group for the number of your doc. And it's important to share what who's in that smaller group. You'll see the output objectives. So you're going to winnow down the 4 or 5 ideas that came from last week to then 1 or 2 that your small group will work on, and you'll problem solve with that, and then create personal next step, first step actions to address the issue. And you'll see that there are, introduce yourself, identify a note taker, all of that, and then here are the guiding questions, okay, to help guide the 45 minutes. So the 45 minutes will end, and it might be a little less than 45 as I'm watching the time, but it'll be within 5 minutes or so of that. That it will be at the top of the hour to come back here. So again, we have key informants. Just want to acknowledge that they are here, and I want to give us all an opportunity to test the technology that we're going to use to report back. So rather than reporting in the chat or with your microphone, we're going to use menteecom. So open menteecom in your in a window in your browser or on your cell phone, and then enter 464249. And you will see this question. And I know you might be sick of toilet paper jokes at this point, but I wanted to, Mentee, Elliot, that's exactly how you spell Mentee, M-E-N-T-I. So menteecom. And you should put that code 464249 in, and you can see everyone's answers scrolling through. So we've got finding toilet paper, Jurassic, paper, toilet paper, Wizard of toilet paper, and so forth. So the code would not enter. Try 46 space 42 space 49. And we're going to use this again. We've got a couple more questions, one for our issue leaders and another for our for everyone to share your action plans. So hopefully everyone's had a chance to take a look at this. You can keep going with this, but I'm going to come back here. And I want to be able to break to our small groups. But before we do, I just want to show you what we're doing, okay? And say, please be patient, because we've got 3 people operating 9 rooms, and we're going, or I'm sorry, 8 rooms. And so we need to kind of see where everyone is in order to move some folks around. So first thing you're going to do is go to training.extension.org, and that will bring up this website. Okay, and if you scroll down from this website, this main room, that's where we are now. Okay, and where we will come back to at the top of the hour. Okay, and then if you signed up or are interested in shift to the digital mindset, you will go to shift, click into issue room 1. And I'm not going to click in there now because it'll take me out of here, but it's a room like this one, and then we will go ahead and do that. So many of you, and I'm thankful for that, signed up ahead of time. But we're going to go ahead and I will take 1 or 2 questions. Can I provide the meeting ID for Zoom? Each one of these rooms, and Aaron, maybe you'd like to talk about how this is set up.
Yeah, each one of these rooms is a separate Zoom link to a different Zoom room, so you will need to go to that website, and it'll launch your Zoom room from there. You will need to leave this room in order to
have it work.
Go.
But if you hover your mouse over the link that's in each one of those websites, you can see the meeting room number at the end of the link.
Right, so training.extension.org. And once we leave this room, and again, we are going to come back at the top of the hour. Okay, so unless there is one last burning question, I want to give you as much time in the small group time as possible, because we're going to come back, come heck or high water, at the top of the hour. So thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and end this room. Let's see, or stop my share.
Yeah, you don't need to end the meeting.
I don't need to end the room. We can just leave the room. Sorry about that. So go ahead and leave this room, go to training.org, and click into the issue topic that you want to work on for until the top of the hour. Okay. Hey, welcome back. You know what? I popped into half a dozen of the rooms just now, and man, you guys are just smoking and doing a great job. Welcome back. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Look at this. We'll give another minute or so for folks to get back in here. I know that it looked like all the rooms I popped in on were wrapping up. Look at everyone coming back. This is awesome. 45 minutes goes by pretty darn quickly, doesn't it? Especially when you were given 43. But there you go. Good job, everyone, coming back. So welcome back. We'll get ready to do some reporting in just a minute. I want to hear about what happened. What issues did you focus on? That'll be the first question. So, and our issue leaders will report on that question. Welcome back. This is great. I welcome you back, and I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Aaron, why don't you go ahead and start the recording? We can start some of our report back, and I'll share my screen so that You all know where we are in the process. So welcome back. Oh my gosh, I am just so thrilled to see all the hard work that when I was popping in that I was seeing happening, and wheels turning and issues being addressed, problem solving, action plans being created. So we've got 2 questions that I'm going to have you all answer when prompted. The first is just the issue group leaders are going to report using menteecom and that same code that we used last time. They're going to give us a synopsis of the issues that you all chose to address with, the ideas that you chose to address within your topic issue. And then there'll be another question for everyone that is your next step action plans. What can you do without any additional responsibility or money or or authority to move forward on your ideas? So I will bring over Mentee Meter, and it looks like our issue leaders are already putting in Mentee the issues. So let's see, we've got in topic number 8, we have difficulty reaching clientele that either don't have access to the technology for virtual programming or the lack of knowledge to utilize the available technology. So they were focused on external clientele. We've got partnerships and working at those, especially with schools, that adjusting to remote work. I'm thinking maybe that's on a personal level, but I can get a little more information on that perhaps. And communication, providing those opportunities for a social connection. That's really great to figure out additional support. And then we've also got, how do we continue our services if we're no longer able to direct educational programs? So, and how do we utilize hands-on learning when we have technology and onboarding to new technology, or onboarding for new technology and best practices for that. Hopefully you all are seeing a model here with how we've been using some different tools with Zoom and Mentee and so forth. Has everyone had a chance to kind of say where you all focused in your small groups? Let's see, group 1 focused on how to reach audiences. Should they and when they should be the experts, they're learning it, or when we should be the experts and when we're also learning it quickly and on the fly. Yeah, I always think, just be a couple steps ahead, right? And we've got communication with stakeholders and I'm guessing that's show relevance, not about entering a new realm of shoemaking. So. Let's see, digital mindset, identifying what types of technology are needed and then to provide that training. So it looks like a couple of the groups actually could work together, that onboarding and the different types of technology and the access to technology. Let's see, we've got another sharing ideas for creative programming. Excellent, for both virtual and non-virtually. That's excellent. So some really great foci of each of these groups. So I'm really happy to see that. So another group 3 focused on remaining sensitive to our participants during crisis, delivering our programs. So that is very important. Remember Chuck Hibbard in part 1 said, be kind to others, be kind to ourselves through this. We are in a public health crisis and we are all both living it and trying to lead within it. So, and not forgetting some of our older technologies of paper, radio, low tech, in order to reach folks in different ways. So maybe relying back on that. These are all fabulous ideas that, that you all were focused on. I'm going to go ahead and move us to the next question, which is to all of the participants on what is your personal first step, next step to help resolve the issue. I think we have some spillover from the toilet paper question here. Let me, but I would like you, everyone who was a participant, unless your next step is to go get the toilet paper, to go ahead and type into mentee.com with the code 46-42-49. And what is your personal next step or first step to address the issue? I'm just going to do a quick check on my technology here to make sure that I am on the question we want. Oh, there we go. We're starting to get beyond the toilet paper question. Excellent. Checking in. Looking for a specific local organization to see how they're reaching the audience that perhaps you have in common. I love it. Staying connected. Helping admin who maybe don't know the best practices of remote work to share what you've been learning. Collaborating, staying connected with clients. This is wonderful. Taking the time for learning for others. Strategizing about using some of the tools like Zoom. Seeking training yourself. You know, there's a lot of training out there. So there's a lot of YouTube going about how to use, you know, some of these different technologies. Yep, I see. Watching 4-H to be consistent. Excellent. Let's see. So you're looking at your national organization in that case. Communication with those community partners. Reaching out in different ways, perhaps using that social media, even when you were anti yourself. Virtual volunteer meetings. And as I'm reading out a couple of these, and if you're having trouble getting into the Mentee, go ahead and put it into the chat for Zoom. And yeah, we're going to share everything back. And we will have it in connect.extension.org. So I love this. Now, watching the chat, I missed some of the messages here, but luckily we will compile them all. So again, I see a lot of training needs. I see a lot of, and there's also scrolling some of them past again that I've mentioned, but you know, looking for ways to use the technology, but also that older ways to, or less technology focused ways to reach out, finding those best ways. So you want to figure out, this is a tenet of our work always. We want to know who our audience is and what kind of access they have, how they access things, what their needs are. And so I see that in a lot of this. Pacing yourself, I love that. Be kind. Remember, be kind not only to the folks you're helping, but be kind to yourselves. Know that Rome was not built in a day, and this has all come on us at once. So let's see, again, reaching out to teachers. So, having those connections. Let's see, in chat, Lori shared that, the virtual social and education hours with other extension personnel to see what they're doing. So again, getting that inspiration from each other is really important. And let's see, yes, and Ashley is reminding everyone, connect.extension.org, and we have a group specifically for this National Action Dialogue that is well, we'll have resources, but also have that connection point for everyone who's been participating in the National Action Dialogue. So looking to advisors and directors about the tools. I love it. Back to the audience focus, ask youth what they need, right? Ask them how they connect, ask them how they want to receive resources. I would say that's beyond just youth. Find out, it works for adults too. So how are, as adults, we all know, kind of go back to what we know about adult learning, right? We want to make sure that we're reaching folks when and where and how and with the information that they seek. And we can collaborate together to pull that together. So I love it, and I see some sharing already starting about staying connected past this. So I see a virtual water cooler time. I have to share that later today, my friends and I, who generally get together at least a couple times a month, we're having a virtual happy hour later today. So, it's those finding ways to connect and be together. So this is wonderful. We've got so many great next steps, first steps that folks are going to do. And I hope you see some inspiration from each other about, perhaps there are things that you hadn't thought of. And like that virtual water cooler that has come back. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead. These are great. Keep them coming in. If you can get into Mentee, go ahead and keep sharing. I'm going to kind of come back to our plan here, and I want to share a couple of things, right? So one of the things that when I first started in Wisconsin Extension, Cooperative Extension, I think my first day, they said, you know what, it didn't really happen unless you have an evaluation about it. Well, I've got two ways for you to give feedback. One is going to be instant feedback, okay? And I'm going to ask Erin to launch a poll in a minute, and it will take you literally a few seconds to do, and we'll share it back to you about how everyone's feeling about some of the structural pieces to this National Action Dialogue. And then we'll also have, and we'll take a few minutes to do a really short event evaluation and give you a few minutes to do that. And then I've got some additional resources and things that I want to share with you, and we can take a couple of minutes for any verbal comments or thoughts here. So with this, I'm going to copy the link URL for the event evaluation so that you all have that in the chat. And Erin, if you would launch the poll, that would be great.
All right, you should all see a poll now if you're in Zoom, and we'll just take about a minute to go through these 3 questions. I think maybe another 20, 30 seconds. All right. And would you like me to share the results, Molly? And here are the results.
So it's looking like the pace was challenging, and I get it. We were trying to accomplish a lot, whether it was today or last week, both times. We said, you know, hey, small groups, you have X amount of time, and get to it. And some of y'all, this may have been your first experience in using some of the tools that we've done, and that also did it. But you know, it's a tension between that pace and the length, right? So we could have made it longer, but in order to make the pace a little slower, but it would have been longer, right? So and we know that everyone's so busy, so we wanted to keep it short, or as short as possible. So it's kind of interesting that way. And then what did you find most helpful about this format? Checking all that apply to that. And I see the topic being the top one, and I'm really glad. Hopefully this was timely for you, and that we use Zoom as another piece of that. And then we've got, I'm giving this a good feedback that you would recommend a future national action dialogue. And of course, it's assuming the topic is of interest and all of that kind of thing. But it looks like overwhelmingly you all would recommend this format going forward. So I'm thank you for that feedback. So I'm going to ask you to take, again, just a couple minutes. It shouldn't take long to do our event evaluation. I'll put that link back into the chat again. And this will give you, and it's not long, there's a lot of check all that apply kinds of things, but there's some options for giving a longer feedback as well. So go ahead and we'll just take a minute or two more towards that, and then I will bring you back. So just another minute or so, and we'll do a few wrap-up things, share some more resources. I love some of the suggestions that are coming through on the chat too, about ways to further connect. Perhaps come back in a month. See what we've done. Share our success. I love the journaling as well, for those of you who are inclined to do that. Well, again, thank you for taking a moment to fill out our 2 forms of feedback. You know, again, this is our very first National Extension Dialogue, or sorry, National Action Dialogue. And, you know, it's one of those, we're really trying to further and experiment, you know, to further our knowledge, experience this, give confidence, all of that, and try some new things out, right? So see if this is a format that will work for now and in the future. So I do want to draw to your attention connect.extension.org, and I'll share with you what, if you all haven't joined this yet, there is a group just for the National Action Dialogue, and you will see links to the resources shared today, as well as last week's recording, and this week's recording will be put up there, and the Google Docs that you all worked on, all of that will be available in Connect. And it's also an opportunity to stay connected. Other thing I want to draw to your attention, if you haven't found this already, is virtual.extension.org. And this is a plethora of resources around COVID-19 and especially for extension professionals. So a lot of you are talking about additional training, and you'll see that there's other events that perhaps that are being done regionally or locally that can also be of use for you. There's all of the things that you are working with, so that issue group around the working virtually, there's there are resources there for that as well. So this is getting updated multiple times a day. So it's an important resource to remember. And I put this in chat just to make sure that you see this. And with that, I want to say a big thank you, give our last 5 minutes to again say thank you to everyone, to give anyone who wants to pick up the mic a chance to say something about what they experienced today, perhaps what they want to move forward with. But I want to say specific thank yous to our issue leaders, all volunteers, our key informants, all volunteers, our tech support, mostly volunteers, and all of the participants who have moved this forward. So I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Okay, I have to say something. This was fantastic. It was so great to be on a call with like-minded people whose only goal was to try and make things better for the people that they serve. And I'm super impressed and feel like, the smallest of those. And I just can't wait to connect, or to really, I think Extension.org or e-extension is fantastic. And it's sort of an unknown gem out there that needs to really be spread. I'll be telling all my colleagues about it. So you guys are great. Thank you for changing my day. Thank you.
Well, thank you. But remember, it's a collaboration too, right? Everyone made this the event that it is. So thank you so much. But yeah, if e-extension, I'm going to put a little plug. We are a membership organization, and all cooperative extension institutions are welcome to be members. Some are, some aren't. And so if you have a chance to get the ear of those who write the check, we would love to have you as a member as well.
And I'll say that if you are wanting to talk with your directors back in your institution, Erin Weeby on our staff is really a great person to get some talking points and information to help support you in those efforts. So feel free to reach out to any of us, and we'll connect you to the resources you need to go back and share your story.
Thank you, Ashley. That's, and we're so happy to be able to help pull together things at the national level for like this National Action Dialogue. So this has been a pleasure to be a part of.